series. These sessions will continue through July 22nd. The symposium sessions will be held in the morning from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and Canvas Day will be in the afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find a full program listing on the TLT Summer Series website that will be posted in chat. As a reminder, this session is recorded, and recordings of the sessions are posted as available on the TLT Summer Series YouTube channel, which you can find on our Summer Series website. Any technical difficulties should be directed to the panelists in chat describing your issue or question. If you have questions for the presenters, please use the Q&A feature. You can post questions, upvote questions, and comment on questions using this Q&A feature. Our first presentation today is Engaging Industry Through Hybrid Courses and Multidisciplinary Collaboration. We will now turn things over to our first group of presenters.
Hi, my name is Christa Watschke, and I'm here with Dr. Tim Simpson, Dr. Sven Bilén, Dr. Robin Tate, and Jacqueline Steimley, who is the project coordinator for the AMD program. And I believe Tim Simpson is going to take the lead to get us started on this presentation. Tim? Unmute yourself, Tim. I'm gonna unmute him.
There we go.
All righty.
Can you see my slide still?
We're just seeing your desktop right now, Tim.
All right. It was all good, and then it just left. Okay, there we go. All good?
Great.
Thank you. All right, so good morning, everybody. Thanks, Christa, for the introduction there. As we said, we're going to talk about a hybrid online program that involves collaboration across multiple disciplines geared toward engaging industry in new ways. I'll kick it off here, followed by Sven Bilén, then Robin, Christa, and Jacqueline, talking about sort of where we're at, challenges we faced, how we've overcome some of those, and where things are going in the future. So a few years ago, we actually, 3D printing was becoming quite popular at the time. Several departments were starting to offer courses in additive manufacturing across different colleges. And we saw an opportunity, myself and Sven, along with four other department heads, to try and create a truly multidisciplinary program around additive manufacturing and design. So for those of you not familiar, additive manufacturing, another way of saying 3D printing, very common there. The idea that you are additively adding material layer by layer to create a part. We wanted to, certainly the students in the program were excited and interested about this, but more so working engineers, people in industry that were looking for opportunities to learn, advance their education, and those sorts of things, upskill, if you will. And so we started working with Penn State World Campus to offer this program online. The guts of the program, there are 5 core courses shown in the graphic here. The Science of Additive, Design for Additive, Additive Processes, Materials for Additive, and then a hands-on lab component. It is offered by 5 departments across 2 colleges plus World Campus. So as the director, I have a fun job of keeping 5 department heads, 3 associate deans, 2 deans, and World Campus all happy with everything. Quite a bit of juggling there, but nonetheless, it has been very successful so far. Each department, sort of the core departments, of which Sven Bilén in engineering design is one of those, allows us to go in depth into the various aspects of additive. And then we are bringing on new electives in aerospace, arts and architecture, and others, as we will talk about in a few minutes here. The additive manufacturing design program really, as a new technology that is emerging, it's redefining how components are designed, manufactured, inspected, and certified. So we certainly made sure to cover that in the program itself, trying to get the latest research findings and technological advancements out there within a hybrid learning environment. Essentially, it becomes a new method or a new channel for sharing results with industry partners that are hungry for this stuff at the moment. Everybody, a lot of the big companies are trying to figure out how do we reshore, bring manufacturing back to the US, and additive is sort of high on that list. The encouragement of collaboration and communication between certainly industry and education gives us an opportunity as faculty and students to see and engage industry. What are the challenges you're facing? Feed that back into the program and vice versa. It really actually keeps faculty quite on their toes, as we'll see and talk a little bit about from the courses there. And then finally, you know, the challenges with how do you structure educational opportunities for industry that are online with students and residents. And we'll give you 3 or 4 examples here to talk about what's worked well through that program so far. We launched back in fall 17, so it'll be 3 years, coming up on 3 years here this fall. We have grown quite quickly, and most of this has been through word of mouth. I'm co-director on a metal 3D printing lab, and so with conferences and things that we've run, you can see sort of the rapid growth of that. We're over 100 students online now, plus we've had another 2 dozen or so in residence and another half a dozen that are taking it as a minor. 55 companies that are there, you know, the Lockheeds, the Boeings, GE, you know, sort of the usual suspects, but then you're seeing a lot of other companies that are sort of getting into the fray or stepping into the fray with Additive now starting to join. We've graduated 13 so far, and we'll talk about some of the statistics and timing on how long does it take, how many courses, et cetera, here in a minute. And so with that, hand over to Sven Bilén to talk about some of the formation and origin. Sven?
Thank you, Tim. Yeah, so actually, we started dabbling in this quite a while ago, back when 3D printers and those kinds of things were not as common as they are today, and certainly not as cheap as they are today. We began exploring things a little bit with something called a rep wrap, and then developing some curricular offerings locally because of student interest, et cetera. And then obviously with the explosion of research, the addition of Synth 3D and everything else, we began to really consider the formulation of an additive manufacturing and design degree program. You know, everything that's out there essentially indicates that additive manufacturing, or more colloquially called 3D printing, really is part of an evolution in manufacturing. It's part of the strategies for a lot of what's called reshoring, essentially bringing jobs back to the United States, but they're at a higher level than the jobs that left. And they are going, and 3D printing or additive manufacturing is going to be and is a major component of the 4th Industrial Revolution, sometimes called Industry 4.0. One of the things about our program, and this includes both the educational and the research side, is that Penn State is setting the pace, and it's encouraging the growth in this area. A lot of these companies are sending their employees because of the educational offerings, but also because of the research linkages that they're finding at Penn State, which is a really great win-win relationship for us. And then the other thing, as Tim mentioned, the number of founding departments, but then also as we're growing, we're really finding a very, very fertile multidisciplinary environment, and the engagement is there. The students also come from a lot of different backgrounds, and so we're doing this collaboration across the disciplines between the university and industry, and finding that this is being quite successful. So with that, I will turn that over to Robin.
Thank you. So Tim and Sven have given you the background of the origin of the program, how it's been integrated, brought to the world through online and hybrid offerings. And now I'm going to touch upon the goals with the teaching and learning of this dynamic program. First of all, we want to be the premier educator for the next generation of additive manufacturing industrial thought leaders. Secondly, we want to show our students what excellent research is and partner with them to create good industrial and academic research. Next, we want them to value and see academic collaboration in action. Workplace 4.0, or Industrial Revolution 4.0, is grounded in collaboration. We want to be a first choice resource for reskilling and upskilling present-day engineers. And finally, we want our residential students and our industry students and partners to collaborate and share in-class and out-of-class ideas and experiences so that they can communicate at will once their Penn State class time is over. We're building a bridge to continue their lifetime learning experiences easily. Next. Do I do next, or does someone else do next? Okay, great. So how are we achieving these goals? Let's discuss how we're achieving them. Well, first of all, not many universities have the resources to meld cutting-edge research-based instructional strategies and technological delivery systems like we do. We're leveraging these resources to scaffold mental agility and collaboration skills, which are critical to the success of the Industrial Revolution 4.0 workspace. We're artfully transitioning communities of learning into communities of practice for cutting-edge additive manufacturing workplaces. It's not just what you know, it's what you can do with what you know, right? We're giving our students the psychological safety and resources to try, fail, build something even better, and look forward to problem solving new, ill-structured, mind-bending problems. It's called self-efficacy, and we're helping them know and live that. We're employing both knowledge-based and performance-based assessment to truly understand the capabilities of our students and give them evidence to show their colleagues that they know what they're talking about. And finally, we're building meaningful communities of practice that can be sustained throughout the years, through friendships, and through lifelong learning opportunities. Those are pretty good outcomes, I'd say. So what we are, well, we're the leading online hybrid master's level curriculum for additive manufacturing in the United States. We are the first program to reskill and upskill engineers in both the art and science of additive manufacturing design. We're leveraging cross-disciplinary expertise to help students unsilo thinking so that they can embrace this idea of mental agility without even knowing they're doing it. And that is good design. We're family and career friendly. So that means nobody has to leave their job, move their family, or give up coaching their child's soccer team or helping a family member in need to go to school. We're built to help a student thrive regardless of work or personal circumstances. And if they're intrinsically motivated, they can have it all. We are employer embraced enthusiastically. Our enrollment is exploding. And as I've said before, we're a program that creates habits of the mind for additive manufacturing, design, problem solving by fostering mental agility, creativity, confidence in solving ill-structured problems, and confidence to move industry into the next generation of additive manufacturing, problem identification, and solutions in a collaboration-based model, because additive manufacturing is not going to evolve with some guy just sitting in his office alone. He or she is going to be collaborating with other people. Next, please. So this quote kind of sums up who we are. You know, if you want to build a ship, don't herd people together to collect wood, and don't assign them tasks and work, but rather teach them to long for the endless immensity of the sea. And in an example, more linked to our program, I don't think Sven Bilén would be so focused on using concrete additive manufacturing techniques to build housing on Mars if he hadn't fallen in love with the idea of space and rocket launches when he was a boy. So we start by engendering a love of learning of the art and science of additive manufacturing and a sense of community in our program. Our program is vast. I mean, who knew we could teach people to design grafts for holes in an esophagus, or parts of a skull, or parts or reverse engineer parts for military equipment, or build sustainable concrete housing for impoverished families in Mexico. Who knew we could teach our students aspects of additive manufacturing legal issues? We can do all these things. we're just a pretty incredible program, and we do. And what I wanted to show you is one video that our introductory students see when they start our program. And actually, it's Dr. Tim Simpson's Sim 3D lab, and parts of it are secure. So students are seeing things that they never would be able to see, whether they were, in their own home or in certain workplaces. So, Tim, I don't think I can hear that.
Science itself, some post-processing, some in-process sensing. So you'll, by the end of the semester, have a good overview of additive manufacturing and the basic science behind it. We look forward to having a good semester.
All right, back to you, Robin.
All right. Well, I mean, we just have such a breadth of programs, and Christa is going to talk to us about a couple particular courses.
Hi, everyone. This is Christa Watschke. I'm an instructional designer in the Office for Digital Learning, and I'm kind of the newbie on the additive manufacturing team in terms of design and development. So I just got involved with the program last fall, and I just wanted to share with you a little bit about what we've been doing to enhance the collaboration within the specific coursework, and give you two different examples. This first example is an industrial engineering course, graduate level course that's cross-listed with additive manufacturing. And its purpose is to kind of give a breadth of the whole gamut of additive manufacturing design. They're getting an overview of the technologies, the software that's used, all the different processes, how it affects all different aspects of engineering industries. And so one of the things, the way that they have been offering this class since its inception 3 years ago was to integrate World Campus students and resident students together, in which the resident students come to class traditionally. The lecture that's given by the instructor is recorded, and then that recording is shared with the World Campus students. So right then and there, there's not much collaboration going on, but to facilitate having the resident students and the online students work together, every assignment through a full class project has been implemented, and they're creating teams so that a resident student is paired with a World Campus student, so that you're getting, whether it's a small week by week homework or a larger project, or this course project that has deliverables throughout the semester with an end presentation. They're working to get a little bit of industry perspective with the traditional resident perspective. And that's something that seems to be working well for that class, but it's also in an area where we'd like to take it to the next step. So the professor and I have been working towards a redesign and a relaunch for this fall 2020, and trying to take a look at how the lectures that he has formally done, how we can capture those, provide those the same way to both resident and online students, and then use a live classroom time a little bit more dynamically. And so we have moved forward in ways that was planned for a traditional fall semester, which of course we all know has changed dramatically. So we're continuing to revise that, but definitely giving students a larger role in their active learning, not just through the assignments, but through the discussions and conversations that they're having, so that there's a real kind of cross-pollination of information between what folks who are out in the workplace can provide to those who are traditional resident undergraduate students or graduate students in this case, and then what those students who are working in labs and around professors and taking a full load of class can share back with the industry. So we're working towards that. But again, that's an introduction course. That's one of the required courses, as Tim talked about earlier in this presentation. And so that's, everyone takes that class. So we're trying to make that a solid foundation with a great experience so people continue to move through the program. The next course is AMD 597. Its first offering was last fall, and this was born on an interdisciplinary research team that Penn State had with their objective. They entered a NASA habitat challenge. So that was Sven, Bilén, and Dr. Shadeen Nazarine in architecture. And so right off the bat, they were on a 3-year project, 3 or 4 year project. I don't have the specifics of the details of that project, but this course was born out of that. And so this course was, to me, the epitome of just interdisciplinary collaboration. It was 15 students ranging from areas of expertise in art, architecture, engineering design, mechanical engineering, AMD. And the goal of the course was to design a small house to 3D concrete print in Puerto Rico for the aftermath of a hurricane. So everything these students did was to reach that objective. So through this course, they had weekly presentations from experts in different areas of these specific areas of studies. Then in addition to the lectures, they worked in small groups, interdisciplinary groups, on design, learning how to program different pieces of software, different technologies. They need to make their designs a reality. So they did lots of practice of 3D printing of smaller models of things. And then their final result was to 3D print a scaled version, obviously, of a small house. And it was just really interesting to see how an architecture student and an engineering student could take their areas of expertise and really build not just great designs, but learn the technologies to make the robotic arm move, to print these 3D models. And that course was a first out of the gate. We did have 2 online students in the class who I feel they had valuable experience in viewing what all was going on and hearing the up-to-date research and stuff, but obviously a struggle not to be into the lab. So we're kind of reimagining where online students can fit in the future. And for right now, we're just thinking they can get the content, but not really the lab component of it. And I recognize we're running out of time, so I want to give it over so that Tim can tell you what's next in the program, but just letting you know that we are growing course by course interactivity and interdisciplinary measures into each course, not just program. Here you go, Tim.
Yep, thanks, Christa. So as you can see, sort of the challenges from a traditional lecture course through a lab course, and how do you create hybrid interactive experiences there. Expanding the program, concrete printing. There was a question on food printing. Would love to have a 3D printing food course or something along those lines. I know Hershey, among others, is doing research actively in that. And I think actually one of the nice things about online program here is that we can offer 1, 2, 3, however many credits, and flexibility. So it's actually allowing us to specialize courses and bring them online much quicker and faster. So our legal implications of additive course is only a 2-credit one that runs over a shortened period of time. So the hybrid model gives us a lot of flexibility for doing that. We are moving to challenges with the labs closed, trying to create virtual experiments and virtual labs. We actually just got an NSF grant to evaluate the impact of virtual 3D printing on students' learning and education. We've done some work there. If you don't have a physical printer, we've shown that you can, from a virtual model, at least gain the basics. We're trying to, we now have funding to study that over the next 3 years in parallel with the course. And as part of that, look at, well, what are the metrics that we should be evaluating here? There was an open question on students' experiences. I think certainly the resident, we've tried various models, the resident students partnering with industry students, vice versa. I think it depends a lot on the students and their willingness to engage. The big challenges with industry, do they have access to the software and tools that they need, for instance? So we've worked through some of the IT issues there, being able to do that. But I think overall, it's been a very vibrant environment with faculty, industry students and resident students all working together, collaborating on projects in the course for research and those sorts of things. So overall, it has taken off quite nicely, and very proud of what we've been able to create. And I think it's actually prepared us, the 3 years has prepared us well for the shift that's going on right now with the pandemic and everything else going on, having to look at new hybrid and online models. So with that, thank you for your attention.
And do we have any questions?
I think the questions that were in the queue, oh, there's one that just came in.
All right, looks like we may have somebody could help do our 3D printing course for us. So I know some friends in food science that I've been trying to twist their arm to help do that. So thanks, Rob, for the question. We'd love to talk more about how we might collaborate on that.
I think I just would like to point out one thing, and that is the structure that we built really allows for the flexibility to add these as new printing applications come. It allows us to be able to do that. I think when we started this program, we didn't necessarily think of concrete 3D printing, and that came along. We knew that bioprinting was going to be important, and as faculty come with that expertise, and as we find those faculty that have interest and expertise, the structure allows us to begin adding on those, particularly as electives at first, and then if there's a large demand for that, then they might become into one of a standard offering that we offer.
All right, any other?
Marcus would like to know how we engaged industry. How do we work to engage industry?
Yep, good question. I think both within this particular domain, there is a lot of industry interest right now. And how do I use, deploy, implement additive, to make stuff? And so we've actually, through our lab and our research, over the past 6 years, 7 years, actually 8 years ago now, have sort of built up a following and a network of companies that are interested in this. We work with corporate and foundation, industry relations, corporate partnerships, alumni that come back. We have some pretty cool things to show off, so we tend to be on the tour. I joke that I'm a tour guide more than a faculty member some days. We've actually had about 1,000 visitors a year that come through our lab. As part of that, a lot of DoD interest. We're partnered with the Applied Research Lab as well. So naturally, we've built up this, this network of folks that have been here for research, but also, we saw an opportunity for training and education. So again, it's been more grassroots, direct interaction, direct marketing, targeted and focused marketing. We've started placing a couple of ads in 3D printing trade magazines and journals and articles. We blog and post on social media, LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn group that we share and collaborate on, tweet about it, and those sorts of things. So sort of very Yeah, so that's been main ways of engaging or getting companies interested. And then, like we said, the examples working directly with students through the classes on research projects. The online students write a paper and that gets submitted as part of that where they're doing a project. So again, some neat ways to create insight and tie and bring them back in and vice versa. So pretty rich different channels for engaging them.
Thank you, Tim, for answering that. And thank you. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. If you have any other questions for this group, please feel free to post them in the Q&A. And if they have time, they can answer them, stick around and answer some questions. And if not, we can always send the questions their way.